you beautiful entrepreneurs. If you guys wouldn't mind muting yourself, that would be awesome. As well as getting something to hydrate. If you do not have something to keep yourself hydrated, if you do, hold it up to the camera. I want to see you. And then also get a journal, get something to draw in. Today's going to be a creative day. We're going to have a lot of fun. And while you guys are getting situated and sorted, I've got a few house cleaning items that I want to talk about. First off, yesterday I shot the advanced buyback principle course, where I went deep based on literally hundreds, if not thousands of questions I've been asked since the book came out. And I wanted to unpack kind of like the next level training for all of you. So I'm assuming Anne's going to work with Nick, my video guy, and Sam to figure out the editing and get that up there ideally before next week. So you guys will get that coming to you. We're still working on iterating on the beta of our AI prompts. So one of the things that I am going to be delivering to all of you guys is some of the most powerful GPT AI prompts to literally create, recruit, design processes, onboarding, training for your businesses. It's like, once you see these prompts, you're going to go like, oh, I didn't realize there was that level of AI in the world, because there's this whole another level that I think some people are going to be really excited to see how you can, because I've been working with my buddy Chris, who's a prompt engineer, to show you guys how to do that. We also got the giveaway. So if you are on at the end of the call, Anne is going to pick somebody and we're going to give away some swag, but you have to be on the call at the end to receive it. I want to remind everybody that part of this coaching program are the 5 non-negotiable daily tasks. I've got all of you in groups in my socials, so I'm watching and I'm seeing a lot of people not follow protocol. So if you are thinking that you can just be part of this group and not do the work, that's not how it works. I only get happy when my clients get results, and I know you guys are going to crush it by following those daily non-negotiables. So if you haven't checked them out in the community area, they're written out there. It's called daily non-negotiables. Everything from showing your work on social media, 5 opens, outbound, starting conversations, relationships, customers, and working out, getting your body right so you can get your mind right, and all these other amazing, very impactful things. So with that, I want to ask everybody, just type a word in the chat that represents the feeling you have right now. I'm just curious. I want everybody to check in the chat, type the word, the feeling that resonates with you. And I'm just going to get rid of that and look fired up, happy, ready, curious, pumped. Awesome. Chris, Liz, Lindsay, Katie. So good. Cool. When we get into the coaching component, I am going to add this twist. When you come on live, and if you have a question for me already, feel free to go to the reactions tab and raise your hand under reactions. If you want to get in the queue, just click the reactions and go raise hand. You can get in the queue. So that way you get put at the front. That'll be coming up after I unpack one of our growth models. And when you come on, I'm going to ask you to share a win. What's going awesome in your world? So I want to hear a win. Okay. So start thinking about something, but I want you to brag a little bit. You want to brag about some financials. You want to brag about the new clients. You want to brag about a deal you just closed. I want to hear you guys brag it up. I'm giving you permissions. There's a few Canadians in the room. You guys are the worst at this. Let's get inspired by our Canadian or American counterparts. Be a little bit braggadocious, because that's actually how we find opportunities to serve each other. I just want you guys to understand that if we don't tell people what we're up to, what's going awesome, then we will have a harder time finding cool things to support each other on. So with that, everybody open up your journals, get ready. We're going to talk about system designs today. System design today, specifically around this process called design patterns. So, Anne, can you let me know on my screen sharing? Your screen sharing is paused. Let me just unplug, replug. Look, we're going to create a resume share. There we go. All right. Can you see that, Anne?
Yep.
Is it paused again?
No, I can see it.
All right, perfect. You can see it when I draw?
Nope,
see me
not
draw
seeing
right
any
now?
drawing.
Are you seeing me drawing? Okay, let me try that. That's so weird. I think it's because it's full screen or something.
Now we can see it, Dan.
Now you can see it, but if I do this, then you can't see it. Correct?
Correct.
How about now? Can you see it now?
A partial screen.
Can you see me drawing?
A partial screen of you drawing.
Partial screen of me drawing. All right, let me see if I can see what you see. Do you see?
There we go.
Okay. So this is what we're talking about. It's called a design pattern. Okay. Design pattern builder. When I started off in business, what's very unique about my background is I actually started off as a software developer writing code. And through that process, I like went all in, right? I think that every person starting off in life, you know, a 16-year-old asked me the other day, like, what should I focus on? Develop a high value skill. Okay. My high value skill, I didn't know it at the time, was software development. And I went and I read all the books on developing software, building products, building online tools, building applications, websites, all that stuff. And through that journey, I actually discovered this concept called design patterns. And what a design pattern is essentially a best practice for how to architect software, right? If you got to understand, like there's thousands, hundreds of thousands of software developers around the world writing code, and they're all collaborating around the same application. They have to create these best practices, these patterns. And when I started building systems, see, write this down because most of you guys may not know this, but every week we focus on a different area of our business. The first area is attract, which is A. The second one, I'll just draw this over here for you guys. Attract, convert, expand, and scale. Okay. This week is a scale or a systems conversation. And to understand how to scale, we need to understand what design patterns are. Some of you are creating things that you don't have to create because you're not aware that they exist. You're reinventing the wheel because you believe that what you do is a very unique and you're a magical snowflake. But the truth is other people in the world have already solved these problems. And if you did more time researching and kind of what I call R&Ding, robbing and duplicating, you would be able to move faster. Okay. So when it comes to systems, for examples, and design patterns, I've reviewed and read the McDonald's franchise operating manual. I've read the Subway one. I've read most of the chain restaurants. I've seen internal training documents. Just the other day, where was I? I met a new friend, and he used to be a trainer for a guy named T. Harv Eker. Does anybody remember T. Harv Eker in the Millionaire Mindset Intensives? Type it in the chat. I'm just curious if you know T. Harv. Anyways, he used to be a trainer there, and he actually asked me, he goes, do you want to see, because I went to one of those weekends, he goes, you want to see my internal like train the trainer manual? And I was like, do I? Of course I want to see that. So I'm a big fan of reviewing design patterns in the world, best practices. And you may not realize this, but even like when it comes to mobile designs, database architecture, you know, there's these best practices. So learning that as a software programmer, when I started business, I that's kind of how my brain looks. It's like, I don't want to have to make this up from scratch. I want to find people that already have it, right? So most of you, when you're developing systems, especially if you read my book, if you haven't, you should. These are the 3 steps that we kind of go through to build systems. The first one is we use the camcorder method. To capture our work. Okay. We record ourselves doing the work. I have 2 cameras on me right now recording my work. I have my screen recorded. I use my phone all the time to record things and send, you know, processes to people. So recording our work is a great place to kind of like capture the initial like process beginning to end. The work you're doing. Okay. At the end of this, I'm going to ask you to identify a very creative process that you don't think somebody else can actually do for you. And we're going to design a pattern for somebody else to follow. So the first thing was to do is camcorder method. The second thing is we give that to somebody else and they create a playbook. Okay. That's actually how I do it. I give it to somebody else to create a first draft of the playbook. I don't create it. I just record myself doing the work and then give it to somebody else. And then finally, the third is once I have somebody else operating the process, then I do what's called inspect what I expect. Okay. Type that in there, write that in. Inspect what I expect. Meaning that if I create a process for a sales call, I will then listen to sales calls. Some of you guys ask other people to do things and don't check that it's being done. Okay. And we need to inspect what we expect. And what's really cool, if you're not aware about this, her name's Allison. She has operations agency. I don't know, Ann, if you can find her contact info and put it in the notes or whatever, but at least put it in the chat. You can take your recordings of you doing a process and send it and work with Allison and her team, and they will create the playbooks. So if you want to turbocharge this process, reach out to Allison. She'll get you sorted. I think she's doing stuff right now with our customer success department. And she's an incredible person. So that's kind of like at a high level, how we kind of build systems. And like people, especially in the coaching world, they think, well, I'm the coach. I do the thing that's the magic. Right. And I hear this all the time, but I'm also a guy that runs a, multiple 8-figure coaching company that other people on my team execute the process. Well, how do I do that? Design patterns. For example, if I was to do an event, which I have coming up, the Empire Builder event, I actually was doing this today. It's kind of funny I'm teaching this. I have a design pattern for how I design my 2-day events. And it looks just like that. It literally looks like this. And I go hi and bye. And then I fill in the slots. It's 8 blocks. Has anybody ever run an event and ran out of time and they were worried they wouldn't have enough stuff to teach? Anybody? Show of hands. I'm just curious. That's you. Yeah, exactly. So because of that, I created this kind of template for how I run a 2-day event, and it forces me to just fill in the blocks. And because of that, I don't have to start from scratch every time. When I was writing code and there was some process I needed to do, like connect to a database and show the information on the screen, I don't want to write that code every time. So I could literally use existing code that just act as a design pattern to pull that together. And it's the same concept. Think about coaching. This coaching call, I'm going to show you the pattern. I write about it in the book. If you haven't read the book, it's called Coach Pattern. But essentially, it looks like this. Okay. And I teach this same framework to my coaches. Okay. And it's called the Coach. Oh, sorry. Let me just get this right. It's an acronym, CO.ACH. Okay. And it stands for core issue. That's one. What's the core issue you're dealing with? So you ask questions so you figure out what's the core issue. Then you chunk it up to the actual story. That's what A stands for. And then CH is the third part, which is what's the change they're going to commit to. Okay. That's a design pattern. It means that any coaching call I go into, we all follow the same process. Okay. It's a methodology. Okay. If a coach gets on a new coaching call, they don't have to think about it. Even trainings. When I create training, because that was a big one. People are like, how do you have somebody else create a training for you? So like at my next event, I've got a 60-minute training that I'm going to deliver. Okay. But I didn't create the training. But I've created trainings in the past. What I did is I created a design pattern for what makes a great training. And then I sat down and I worked with my team, my coach, to do the first 10%. They went and did 80% of the work, 10-80-10 rule. And then I came in at the very end and I just tweaked the finishing stuff. But I bought back probably 20 to 30 hours of customer interviews, reviewing templates, creating worksheets, creating slides, all that stuff, right? And that training is the worksheet looks kind of, if I remember it right, there's these 3 parts and there's 5 parts here. And then there's 3 more parts down here. And when we sit down to create a new training, we pull up that worksheet and we fill it out. It's a design pattern. It's a scaffolding. It's a stencil. Okay. And then from that stencil, the team can move it forward. And that's the big idea I want to share with you guys today. Right. And there's books on all of this. Just so you know, if you want books on how to create great workshops, there's books on that. If you want books on how to be a great coach, there's books on this. Like, I didn't reinvent the wheel. I just said, okay, well, who's got the design pattern around this? Let me go borrow that. And a lot of people that think, well, Yeah, but I have a very unique way to do it. That's my special way. Cool. Design that into the design pattern, right? Take the base model or the stencil or the template or the blueprint, and then add your secret sauce into it. But what I've learned is information is just information. It's data. What makes it unique is our stories, right? What makes anything we teach unique and very personal is the stories about how we discovered the thing, how we implement the thing, how it shows up in our world today. That's what makes it magical or special. The story is the glue that takes the information and connects it to our team, right? When we're designing these systems, we can add the extra stuff, which is our unique thing. So I want you guys to consider this. Anytime you have a creative output, and again, I'm going to ask you guys to identify one in a sec. This is really what the sequence should look like. First off is we want to identify, if we had to sit down and create a worksheet for this like beginning work, the input, what would the elements of that input look like? What would I need to collect? What questions would somebody have for me? Let me put that in there. Like, for example, our sales process follows a 9-box model. It's called the Rocket Demo. Okay. But it's a diagram. It's a worksheet. Okay. And then there's a process. It's a checklist that I train people on, but the worksheet's the worksheet. So anytime somebody does a sales call, they have to pull up a template and start with that worksheet, right? And they fill it out as they do a sales call. And that's what's handed in the CRM system to the sales manager. So we all know that the person followed all the steps, if that makes sense, right? Then there's the process, right? Which is the checklist, right? What's the process? 1, 2, 3 of like, these are the sequence of the things. So there's the ingredients that go in. So for example, the training, if I use that as an example, there's the ingredients that go in. That's not what I wanted to do, or maybe it's just not hot enough. Yeah. So the training, I have a worksheet to create the training, which is this thing. Then I give it to the team, my coach, to design it. That's the process, right? And then the last part is the output. What are the artifacts? What are you actually creating with this? Okay. So what is the output? What's the, documents, designs? Like essentially, if I take an outline of something, a design pattern, and I give it to somebody else to process, and this comes down to everything from creating reels on Instagram to outlining videos for YouTube to doing the work for our customers, right? It should produce an output and it goes in a folder. And how should I do it? A lot of us don't think in systems, and I get it. Maybe you've never been trained on it, but that's why you're in this program. I want to show you the way that the best of the best actually scale companies, because becoming a design pattern builder is actually the job of the CEO. Your job is to build the machine that builds the machine. This is how we build the machine, right? And my whole philosophy is, I don't want you to start from scratch every time. Some of you guys, the work's really heavy for you because every time you start from scratch, you sit down, you're like, oh, I got to shoot more YouTube videos. What do I want to talk about? Or you're like, oh, I got to create some Instagram, or I got to do this. It's like, no, start with a template, start with a design pattern that's based on best practices, and you just fill it out, right? And you build that stencil once or that template, because I'd rather you guys be editors than authors. That's how we scale really quick, is give somebody else the ability to do the research to bring it to you, and you can become the editor, not the author, right? When I think of the most creative companies in the world, from Disney to Cirque du Soleil, to artists like Andy Warhol and Jeff Koons, a lot of us don't realize that behind the scenes of some of the most beautiful choreographed interactions are design patterns, these best practices around how a cast member welcomes you into the magical kingdom, to how the Cirque du Soleil story arc of a new show is created and designed, and what are the non-negotiable elements that need to be present. When they start a new show, they don't just sit there and say, blank page, we're going to start from scratch like a lot of entrepreneurs do. They go, what are the best practices that we've learned over the time? What's the design pattern? What do we know that if we go from here to here to here to here, it's always going to produce an incredible experience, right? And that's what I want to invite you guys to consider. So my question for you today is, what's a creative process that you currently run, that you're involved in, that you think there's no way somebody else could be doing for me? And I want you to create a template around that, okay? Take a creative process, Okay, it could be hiring, could be training, could be coaching, could be doing the work for the client, could be design work. And I want you to create a template of saying, okay, well, if I had to give this to somebody else and they needed the ingredients, right? What would the ingredients be that they would need to knock this out of the park for me? What would I ask them for, right? That's what I want you guys to consider. I want to invite you to play with that, to design the worksheet, the design pattern that you probably inherently already do, and play with it. I want to really invite you guys to consider creating systems that are more involved than just, you doing stuff. And that's typically what happens. So with that, I want to ask everybody to post in the chat below. What did you learn today? What did you hear? What did you need to hear most? I want to hear from everybody in the chat. What resonated with you on this model? Becoming a design pattern builder. Be the editor, not the author. I love it, Rachel. Natalie, editor over author, be the editor, not author. Yes, templates. It's about speed. When I sit down, I can fill out a training, like a new training, in about 25 minutes from start to scratch. I'm talking case studies, models, templates, actionable items, everything. Yeah, Doza nailed it. Your job as a CEO is to build the machine that builds the machine. There we go. Katie, remind me the second time you do something is your system. Yes, perfect. That I outsource the playbook building. There we go. Awesome. Yes, you guys are picking up what I'm throwing down. Amazing. Give you guys some love. With that, we're going to open it up for some coaching. And we're going to start with Tim. Tim, what do you got?
Hey, Dan. Hey, everybody. Tim Gourlay from Edmonton, Alberta. My company.
You got to share a win, though, Tim. That's how we're doing it. We're starting it with some wins. I want to hear a massive win. What do you got going on?
Massive win. Our gym is hosting the second ever Canadian Ninja League National Finals in Edmonton this fall.
Boom. That's huge, man. Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So, yeah, we're a Ninja Warrior obstacle gym. We have a location here in Edmonton as well as Calgary, and a mobile operation that goes all around the province. And we've grown really quickly over the last 2 years. And over the last year, it keeps popping up a disconnect as we started to build a leadership team, and as our frontline coaches, instructors are growing. There's starting to be a little bit of a disconnect between the leadership team and the frontline workers. And the leadership team, we're trying to improve the processes, change things, listen to kind of what the frontline folks are saying, and create policy, create standard operating procedures. And as we're doing that, we're starting, there's friction happening, that it's like, oh, the leadership team wants us to do this, and now we have to do this, and we're having to do the work. And it is hard. I'm having trouble because I used to be the person that would introduce these changes, give the context, rally the team, and it all worked. And now that I'm not the person doing it, it's coming back and there's friction, and I'm feeling like, oh man, do I got to get in there? Do I got to call these people? Do I got to give more context? And I know that's just not a realistic way in the future, because we want to franchise this thing. We want this thing to go right across Canada. So I'm wondering if you have any advice for me on.
I mean, Tim, it sounds like the challenge is that you're growing and you've got the people talking to the customers and the people making decisions on change, and there's friction between those two parties. Does that sound about right?
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. I'm just curious if anybody's ever been challenged with like connective issues amongst team members. Just type connectivity in the chat, or connect in the chat, right? Between different departments, especially, right? Sometimes marketing and sales have issues. Yeah. You're amongst friends, Tim. A lot of people, we struggle with this. Here's my philosophy, and I take it from product development. Okay. So like in product development, again, another place that I learned this in the software world, is one of the most powerful things that we can do as entrepreneurs, and it goes back to you can accomplish anything if you don't care who gets the credit, especially if you don't care who gets the credit. And this is what I love to do, is I love to drive innovation from my customers. And in this, and when I say that, you might be like, well, what does it have to do with designing product? Your customers are the frontline workers. Like, there's two things we build when we build companies. We build a funnel, what's called a bow tie funnel for our customers, and we build a bow tie funnel for our teams. Okay. So if you think about, like, for customers, there's attract or awareness, consideration, purchase. That's the first part of the bow tie. And then there's, activation, onboarding, and retention. And then for a team, same thing, awareness, consideration, hire, then onboarding, development, and then retention. Okay. So it sounds like your frontline workers don't feel heard, seen, maybe, or appreciated by the leaders. And the best way to solve that is to never make a change unless you can point to the person at the front line that actually gave the suggestion to the person to make the change. Okay. So it's kind of fun as a product person, because oftentimes what we'll do is we'll take support tickets and we'll group them. All our product managers in my companies, they drive their innovation from customer feedback. It doesn't mean they just take it verbatim, but they look at what the customer's asking for. In your case, your team. We do the same thing with our, what we call the ENPS score, or internal net promoter score. And then we queue up the changes we're going to make. And oftentimes, Tim's, just between you and I, we'll give credit to people even if we were already going to do it anyway. So, like, that's the dirty secret, is if a customer is like, you know what you guys should do? You should do this. And it was already on our roadmap. When we launch it, we'll email the customer and say, because you sent us that feedback, we changed this. So if all you did was made sure that no change was made without, and you could just ask your leaders, hey, no changes can be made without a name of a person on the front line that you heard this from. Then all of a sudden, it's not you against them. It's them against, like, they're the ones that are co-creating this thing together, right? Asking for the feedback form from your team to give us feedback on how we can make things better. I'll give you another beautiful example. It's just about collecting feedback, right? Like, how do we give attribution properly to people? Here's a great example. I remember I was in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I think it's on whatever that street is downtown, the main kind of shopping street. And my wife, my fiance at the time, Renee, went into the Lululemon store in Halifax and was trying on tops and leggings and all this stuff. And I'm sitting there, not really shopping or anything. And I'm sitting on the seat that's in the changing room. And I noticed on one of the blackboards was some information. And as people came out the changing room, the person, the sales rep that was working with that customer would ask questions like, what did you think? And they would give feedback. Well, I don't like the hole here, and or like the pockets, or, it would be really great as if in my ponytail and the thing, blah, 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 blah. And then they would write it on the blackboard. And I was like, holy crap. The sales reps getting feedback from the customer about the close in real time and writing it on the blackboard. So I pull out my phone to take a picture. It was back in the day, it was my BlackBerry. And the salesperson stops me and goes, oh, no, you can't. And I was like, why? They go, this goes to head office every night. We're not allowed to let anybody take pictures of it. And I thought, well done, Lululemon. Well done. They literally created a feedback loop at the front line of the customer back to head office. And I don't know if they gave it. See, if I was running that, I would give attribution to whoever took the photo and say, like, based on the feedback we got from Stephanie at our Halifax store, we changed the leggings. We did this. Now, all of a sudden, those reps are like, well, my feedback's heard and I got to be careful what I asked for. And now I feel like I'm co-creating Lululemon with the people at head office, not as like this black hole. Does that make sense, Tim?
I love it. The big takeaway is that never make a change without being able to point to the person on the front line that that's requesting it.
Make it about them.
I love it. And just, I love it. ENPS, that's the internal, or that's, it's like called the Employee Net Promoter Score.
Yeah, there's an ENPS question series that works the same way as an NPS. We use Lattice as our software, but there's a ton of other ones you can use for free. Let's give some love to Tim. That's how we do it. But I want to hear everybody in the chat. What did you resonate with? What did you like? What was the most important thing for you? Type it in the chat. I want to hear from everybody. While you're doing that, I'm going to pull up Katie. Thank you. Blackboard. Yes. Love the Lululemon story. Their idea, Jen. Awesome. John. Bow tie funnels, Adam. Yeah, there's a lot in there. I gotta keep it to one point. I just want to drop all of it in one shot. Oh, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Awesome. Katie, intro, win, and question.
Hi, Dan. Hi, everybody. I'm tuning in just below you in central Kelowna, British Columbia. And my
Awesome.
win is I'm finally moving from employee to owner to investor. And I have my first opportunity to become a venture capitalist, and I feel a little bit like a dragon from the Dragon's Den. So it's why I'm here today. And my question is, I've been submitted to by a company that is an SaaS company, a pitch deck, a loan agreement, a reseller agreement, and projections so far. So my question is, I have no idea what to do next. Who's the team? How do I analyze my risk factor? What questions do I need to ask? The checklist of, running this process every single time an opportunity comes by, legal representation, airtight contracts, keeping my interests in mind, and, rules on shares as we go. So that's where I'm at.
I love it, Katie. Great question. I'm just curious if anybody else looks at deals to invest in. Just type deals in the chat. I'm just curious how many other people do deals on the call. Some of you guys not yet, but soon deals. Yeah, there's a lot of people, Katie, that look at deals. Maybe not software, but definitely there's some incredible real estate folks on here and other business investors. This is my philosophy, right? And I got this from one of my mentors, Naval Ravikant, who built Angel List and is one of the best angel investors in the world. I didn't do this when I started. I made my first angel investment when I was 26. It was a dating app. One of my mentors was involved in the company, brought it to me. I thought, you know what? He knows better than I do. What do I know? Wrote a check for like 50 grand, lost my money, right? Like 18 months later, right? Company goes to zero. Did this again, invested in a painting franchise because I was involved in my brother's home building company. Okay. Lost my money. And I kept doing this. I invested in probably 13 companies. Okay. And every once in a while, one would do okay. And it was kind of like neutral. Like I wasn't making any money, but I was at least making back my capital. But it was a lot of time. Like that was the other thing that I realized. And it wasn't until I moved to Silicon Valley and I met Naval. And Naval explained to me the concept of a portfolio. And his philosophy on angel investing was that unless you're able to make at least a dozen investments over a 4-year period of time, because a 4-year is when the market cycles go up and down. And a dozen, and then this was the other kicker, which I wasn't doing before, was the same amount of money in all 12 companies, then you probably shouldn't be investing because you're not going to be able to pick the winners. So anybody that's done any tech investing, especially high risk angel stuff, will know that it is so dependent on the individual and the market and the timing. So that's why he said 4 years, 12 investments, and this is the kicker, the same amount in every one of the companies. Because if you're writing a check for 50 here and 250 there and 100 there, then indirectly you're trying to say, well, I know which ones are going to win. And what he said is take the guesswork out, build a portfolio, and then have some extra capital left over for reinvestments in the winners, right? So if you get involved in an Intercom or an Uber or Hootsuite or a Udemy like I have, you want, if there's an opportunity to exercise what's called your pro rata shares, then you're going to want to take advantage of that, right? As the winners win. That being said, so those things have to be true. So unless you have enough capital to do a dozen investments, I wouldn't recommend getting involved with your financial capital. What I recommend to a lot of my friends that are kind of earlier start in that is to just start doing advisory stuff. If you know you're going to create a lot of value for people, then figure out what part of the value chain, maybe it's your marketing, your operations, your HR, your people skills, whatever, and ask for shares as an advisor, and that can range from 0.5% to 2%, depending on the scenario. Because, Warren Buffett, his investment rule number one is don't lose the money, right? So that's why I love a lot of the real estate investors on the call, because they don't do deals unless they're going to make money. They almost guarantee they're going to make money. And I love them for it. And that's how I do my real estate stuff. But yeah, the high tech investment stuff is a byproduct of looking at a lot of deals. And what's cool as it pertains to the design patterns that we talked about, I posted this on Instagram or Twitter the other day, where I've even created a design pattern for how I evaluate investments of companies we buy, right? In I think it was like 12 or 13 metrics I identified in the whole thing. And like there's ways to create repeatable systems, right? So if this is your first, Katie, you can do it. I'm not saying not to do it. I just want you to do it eyes wide open, right? Good chance you won't make money, because tech is like that. Okay. If you're only ever going to make money 1 in 10, that's going to pay for the other ones and then some, then know that we don't really know which ones are going to work. Okay. We just have to have enough shots on goal to know that eventually they'll work. So, my wife's involved in a local angel investing group called Sierra Angels or something like that. I forget what it's called. It's run by, my wife could tell you if you just hit her up on Instagram, Renee Warren, if you guys are curious. But looking at deals, getting into deal flow, like getting comfortable, not being too quick to do the first one you get, I think is just a great place to get into. And I think I did not do that for the first 5 years of my angel investing, and I lost a lot of money. And then all of a sudden I create portfolios now, right? Like even Big Band Software, it's $100 million fund. We buy software companies. That's a portfolio. We know what we buy. We'll probably buy 12 to 13 companies, and that'll build that portfolio. And it's a completely different financial, portfolio than my high risk tech investment angel stuff that I do. Right. Does that make sense, Katie?
So good. Thank you.
Cool.
And
I want to
thank
ask
you for
everybody
your
in the chat.
contributions to startup too.
Oh,
Amazing.
thank you so much. I appreciate you. It's great to have you in here. I want to ask everybody in the chat to leave a comment. Let me know what you picked up based on what I shared with Katie around investing. Okay. That answer could have saved you all hundreds of thousands of dollars if you guys are really listening to what I was putting down. Some of you guys may have been on the receiving end of losing a ton of money because you did not build a portfolio, and it's high risk. And that's just not a really great way to do it. Next up, thank you guys for all that. Eleanor, what is up?
Hey, what's up? Okay, so many wins, but basically,
let's hear them.
Yeah. Well, so I've been doing 10 opens a day, and
can I just say this? 5 was like the beginning. Some people, I'm doing 5. It's like, thank you, Eleanor, for going 10. I do like 20. I just didn't want to freak people out. I can't believe
well, I do
guys,
10 plus
stop.
one more because I heard
Yes.
Mr. Milet on your podcast. So 10 plus one more every day. And it's crazy, actually, like the amount of momentum that generates. And so it's everything from like customers coming into our programs, but it's also like we have this, we do business with banks and organizations, and we landed like 3 deals through, not huge ones, but they're basically, we get paid to build our list and market with them. So we'll put on events, and then they market them to their list. We just do a great job with them. We get paid to do it. So it's like we're sort of paid to market. And so we landed a few of those through just actual opens. And so it's been awesome. And I'm recording what I'm doing and taking screenshots and stuff so that I can hand it off to one of the folks on my team. So it's been awesome. Yeah, you're great. And for the new folks, so cool. Just do what he says. Take it to the max. You will be very grateful to yourself. So here's really cool. Yeah. Thank you. So here's my question. I love that we're doing the design pattern builder, because it's a part that I really need, and I feel very stuck around it. In a number of ways. And I'm really trying not to keep coming back with the same thing, but I feel stuck. So it's not that I feel necessarily like I'm a special snowflake, but I guess my actions would suggest that I do. Yep. I know that I should be doing this. So for instance, I'll give you an example. We have this amazing onboarding process. I can be very precious about our clients and very precious about really wanting to make sure that they get locked in on the right foot. And so, for instance, like I've developed this success planning process. It's in here. It gets done. It's awesome. It creates great results for them. I haven't handed it off yet. And I'll tell myself things like, I just don't know that I have the right team member who could execute this that well. But I also haven't actually put together the training around it. Diligence is not an issue for me. Neither is procrastination. So there's something, I don't know if you come from this background. And so I know that this comes very naturally to you, but I also don't want that to be excuse. So I just need a little bit of help mindset wise.
Yeah, no, Eleanor, I want to acknowledge, like, I understand that my background is unique and it's why I'm able to do this, like, right. But there's patterns to like learn from it. So one of them and the reason why I think my brain defaults to thinking this way is it's called dry. So any of you technical people, Wes, I don't know if you've ever heard this term in software development. Dry stands for do not repeat yourself. Okay. So in software world, it's a mantra. Think about this. Every software engineer, when they're writing code, if they see themselves rewrite a function, they go, oh, I got to go put this over here so I can use it every time and I don't have to rewrite it every time. It's called dry. Do not repeat yourself. So I think I learned at 18, 19, 20, 21, like writing code, that anytime I saw myself in my business do something again and again and again, that I just was like, okay, well, let's just create a playbook or a process so that I can give it to somebody else, because I don't really want to do it. I already know how to do it, right? And that's very unique. I'm just curious, how many of you guys are struggling with some kind of creative process, type process in the chat, like some creative thing that you feel kind of like Eleanor, like I know I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm still doing it. Just type process in the chat. Perfect. That's why you guys are in this program. Like,
we're not special snowflakes.
Yes, no, stay with me, okay? Because like by design, I added the Andy Warhols and the Tom Clancy's in my book as examples because I wanted to create a book for creatives and artists. Like I didn't want to create a book for software programmers because those aren't the people that are changing the world, right? I just want you to do more art. So Eleanor, let's just stay with one thing. You have you said a success process of sorts. What did you call it?
It's a freaking awesome onboarding process. And this is the handoff between sales and coming into the program.
Awesome. Okay. And if you had to sit down, okay, I'm going to model for everybody with you how I would design this. Okay. So if I ask you to just make me a list of the beats of that call, do you have a list of the beats?
I do.
Perfect. And if I took those beats, right, like, intro, whatever, can you name me some of them?
Yeah. So intro, purpose, like purpose of the call.
Yeah.
12-month vision.
Yeah.
Clear definition of success at the end of 12
Perfect.
weeks.
Yeah. You got them all there, right? So if you took those and you put them into like a worksheet, right, that you use just for yourself. Have you done that yet?
No, but I could.
Okay, perfect. So let's just start with there. So I'm really advanced in the tools that I use, okay, like really next level stuff. So it might freak you out what I use for creating these workbooks, but I use Keynote. Okay, very simple. I was joking about being advanced. I'm a paper and I draw on my iPad. Okay. So, but the way I create all my worksheets and my manuals is just in Keynote. And I grab the squares and I put a square on the page and I take a line and I do lines and I take the text and I put it there. And I just design these things and then I save them as a PDF. And then I pull them on my iPad. And then when I'm doing the thing with the person, I just fill it out on my iPad. And then if I notice that it's missing something, I just go into the Keynote file, I add it in the Keynote file, export it as PDF. And the next time I use the template. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, and the reason why is I want you to create the template that you're doing with your client and then give it to them after the call. Okay. And you may do this today in a document, but like imagine after the call, they have the plan, right? The onboarding.
That would be so, yeah.
Yes. We do this in our company. We call it strategic game plan, and it's a process. And then once you have that template, that's the design pattern we've been talking about, just so you know. Okay. Once you have the design pattern for that call, Then I want you to write down a list of like, what makes a great call? So if I asked you to say, what are 5 kind of principles of what makes a great call? What would you say are the 5 top things that are just important? Not like the details of what you do, but what makes a great call? What would you say?
Yeah.
Top 5.
So top 5, transfer a feeling of safety.
Ooh, that's good. What else?
Yeah. Transfer my belief to them.
Ooh, that's so good. What else?
Force them to be very clear about where they want to be in 12 months.
Clarity. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, let's stop with those 3, but there's probably 5. There could be 10. So now I have a template that you fill out with the person on the call, right? It's just this PDF. You draw it out. It's got all the questions and the prompts, and then you send it to them. But then you have this like assessment list, right? That you can use for yourself. And at the end, you could go, how well did I do that out of 10? Well, that call was a 3. I kind of missed some stuff. Okay, cool. How did I do out of 10? Well, that one's probably a 9. I crushed that. I felt like she really felt that I believed in her. Okay, perfect. Blah, 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 blah. So what happens now is you've got the design pattern for a great call that you fill out. Then you have the assessment to evaluate how well somebody did that also becomes the hit list for training. So your training becomes 2 things. Your training becomes, here's the process, this template, and these are the principles of what makes a good call. And let me tell you the kind of questions that you ask or the things that you would say as examples to make sure these things are true. Boom. Does that make sense so far?
Yes.
And then once I have those, then when I give it, so then I create a training and I call it the onboarding call training. And I say, welcome to this training. You can literally just open up Zoom, record yourself, do the call, but you're teaching it, right? Because you're gonna have recordings of you doing it, which is great. You'll have 3 or 4 or 5 of those. And then you'll have you teaching the template. But while you're teaching, you're talking about the principles. Like, this is what makes a great call. And notice I did that there, or watch the recordings and see if you picked up how I did that. Right. And then what's beautiful at the end of it is you then have the assessment. When you train somebody to do it, every call they do, you're going to pay somebody else to review the call to score based on your training. And that scoring is the thing you use with the person to inspect what you expect. It's the thing you use to coach them.
So technically, would you?
And that's a full circle. Okay. Everybody type in the chat what you like best about this. Nobody's teaching this stuff, just so you know. Okay. There's no program you can point, this guy teaches it. No, he doesn't. Not like this. This is 10,000 hours of just thinking about creating systems in the least amount of moving parts. It's how I would, if you took a bathroom at a mall, okay? Think about a bathroom at a mall that's got to be cleaned. There's a checklist on the wall. The person goes in, they've been trained on how to clean. They have to sign their name. So, they cleaned it. They probably have a process that they got to follow somewheres on their thing. And then when the manager comes in, he checks it, he looks at the deficit, he scores them. And then on his next, maybe once a week, they sit down and they say, look, here's where you're at. You got an average of 78. I need you at an 85. That's what we're designing, but for these really creative processes. So where's your blocker? You just don't think anybody can do the thing the way you do it.
I'm pretty good.
You're amazing.
No, I believe.
But here's the thing, Eleanor.
Helpful.
Is they're never going to do it as good as you, but 80% done by somebody else is 100% effing awesome. 100%. Nobody's ever going to be able to coach as good as me. I get that. But I'm going to give them a framework to follow, and they're going to get the next best thing because they can't get me. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not doing strategic game plans. You can't pay me enough to do it. I'm not doing it. It's not the best use of my time. I built the machine that builds the machine. And now I'm going to give it to somebody else, because while they're doing that, I'm building the next part. And instead of being, and this is real talk, instead of you being selfish, because that's what it is, by you not working your way out of the system, you're not helping as many people as you could help. So you're being selfish. You're using the fact that it won't be as good as you can. Duh, it never will be. It's not supposed to be, right? but take the time to build the system, train the people to be awesome. And every once in a while, you will have somebody on your team that will absolutely blow your mind. And guess what? They will do it better than you. My coaches are better than me. Why? They're more patient. They're more attentive. They're willing to go 2 hours if they have to. I was going 60 minutes and then cutting the call off. I'm not going 2 hours. They will. So who's winning? The customer's winning. Okay. But they're trained by me. That's designed by me. And it's going to be a process, right? Like Walt Disney's probably the best person to tour people around Walt Disney, but you can't get him. He's not alive, but when he was alive, he probably said, no, this is the tour person. And don't worry, they're going to follow the checklist and make sure they show you all the neat little things that, I would tell you because they shadowed me and they learned how to do it. And I know they don't have the same magic as me. I'm Walt Disney, but you can't have me. But the second best is this, and it's really good. You just got to allow that to be okay. If you truly want to help as many people, Lauren, I think you do. It's why you're on this call. It's why you're coming to the Empire Builder, right? You want to help as many people as possible, correct?
Correct.
You can't say that and also be the bottleneck.
Yes. I'm right. That's my
not
right.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's you're lying to yourself. Cool. I want to ask everybody in the chat, what did you love best? What did you need to hear? What did you learn by us breaking down the process with Eleanor? I want to hear from everybody. Don't be the bottleneck. You can't even get the next best thing. Yeah. And it's really friggin' awesome. Don't forget that. It's not me, but it's really awesome. It's not less than, it's just different. Assess the list. Yes, the assessment list. That's how we create what's called a rubric for evaluating a process. Okay. I have rubrics for my copywriters. I have rubrics for everything. There's somebody that manages and says, these are the 5 things you have to do when you write a great email. Let me evaluate some emails and give you some feedback. And guess what? That becomes the onboarding test project. They do the test project. You run it through the rubric. Dry. Awesome. Cool. Takeaways. Nihal. Awesome. Marco, Chris, you guys are incredible. Perfect. Let's give some love to Eleanor. That was amazing. Wes, you're up next, man. What do you got? Some wins, man. I want to celebrate.
Yeah. So I think my big win, I'm writing a new book, and speaking of systems, models, and all the visual stuff, finally kind of built that out today. So super excited about that. That's been cool. 6 months getting to there. So big win for that end. My question is about setting a vision. So I went through your whole training. I loved it. The 5 breakdown parts of it. But then as I kind of crafted the 25-year vision, I was like, okay, let's start here and then dig deeper. Why do I want it? I have great reasons, but I'm still kind of wondering, I'm is this the right vision? I have all the logical reasons and everything else there, but still struggling to be is this the right one? And maybe it doesn't matter. It's just overthinking it, but curious to hear your take, how you capture that vision, which is really, I don't know, exciting, if that's the right way of how you would be this is the right one or not.
I love the question, Wes. And if you've ever struggled with vision, type vision in the chat. I'm just curious how many people, and it's super normal. The vision you wrote down, did it scare you a little bit? Was it pretty 25 years from now, you're wow, this is some really big stuff I got to get done. Was it a little scary?
Yeah, no, I
Cool.
cast it far.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So you gave yourself enough time. 25 years is a really, 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 really long time to do some really epic shit, especially the fact that if you think of where you're at, you're in this coaching program, you're getting exposed to ideas, compound that over 25 years. It's actually pretty special what you can get done. Here's some feedback to help decompress the need to get it right. Is it's not supposed to be right. Think of it like this. You have a block of clay. Okay. It's called your vision. And all you did was pulled some pieces off the block. And you're man, that's still pretty big. It's a big thing, but it's not I'm not sure if it's right. Not supposed to be right. It's supposed to be directionally accurate. Okay. Write that down. Directionally accurate. And the only direction that's accurate is forward and big. So if it's forward and big, meaning that it's going to stretch you to become somebody currently today you're not, and it's in the future and it's exciting, then it's good enough for now. And if all you do is just review it every day, okay, using your triggers, and you say, what are my 12-month goals? And you review those goals because you know they are aligned to that outcome. you'll get closer. And the coolest part is the closer you get, the more you'll be like, let's pull this piece off. And like, oh, what's over here? I never even thought of, man, I never thought of wanting to do that. That's interesting, you know? And that's all that matters. I think too often people get really caught up in like, is this right? And it doesn't have to be right. It just has to be directionally accurate, scare us, be big enough, because it'll force us to shape us into the person we need to become to achieve it. Right. And then this is the part when you know you really got it, is just start telling people about it. Right. Tell people if you want to write a best-selling book, or if you want to feed 1 million kids, or if you want to build $100 million company, or if you want to build $1 billion portfolio, or whatever it is for you. Like just tell people, right? And get used to them looking at you and going like, you know, that look, Wes, we come from small towns, man. They give you these, our friends, right? They like give us these looks like, you know, my wife used to give me these looks. She'd be like, and then you start doing these things and they go, oh shit, you're one of them. You're one of those people that do, you do the big things and you say you're going to do it and you do it. Right. And then it starts then, and guess what? Your vision will then change. Why will it change? Because you will build more confidence for what's possible. You'll have more resources. You'll bring some people in your life and you'll just live in this state of forward movement. It creates this force field of just forward motion. Does that make sense, Wes?
No, definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be right. Just directionally accurate.
Yeah.
Awesome. For Wes, everybody's giving some love. Great question. I love that. I know it served a lot of people on this call. Lindsay, what do you got? Some wins.
Hi. Well, I'm Lindsay. This is my second call. Kind of nervous, but thought I'd raise my hand anyway. I am a Pilates studio owner here in the Pacific Northwest, and my big win is that I opened my second brick and mortar location 2 months ago, and my third is opening in another 2 months or less. So my win is also the cause of my question. And right now, with my business scaling so quickly, I am struggling with how best to spend my time. And I'm in your book right now, so I'm really like marinating on this buy back my time. I've begun structuring a team. I enjoy, what I enjoy the most is teaching Pilates, but I know that I also have to build the machine. I can't just be in there, be a cog this whole time. So I have other instructors. I am forming a leadership team, but I still feel like I got to get in there and teach these classes because I feel like other people can't. I'm letting them do it, but they're not, the people aren't showing up for their classes. So I guess I need you to tell me to not teach, or where should I be spending my time? Because I just am wearing so many hats right now.
Cool. Do you give me permission to be direct with you?
Yes, please.
All right. First off, I appreciate you being on, not only being in the program, because I know you were on the last call, but like I remember our chat and like the fact you're opening up the third store, and I was really excited for you, and I checked out all your stuff, and I could tell you love teaching. Right. And everybody should pay attention to what Lindsay's doing on social, because she's doing a great job at showing her work. A lot of you guys need to pick up on that. But here's the thing is, if you truly want to not bankrupt your business, you cannot teach classes. And that's harsh. Okay. But I will tell you this from experience. I've coached CrossFit owners, lots of them. I'm actually speaking at Two Brain Summit, which is coming up next Friday. I think I'm keynoting their event in Chicago. The fitness space is near and dear to my heart, because a lot of my friends, a lot of people on this call are actually fitness coaches. And my best friend Curtis runs, I think, 14 locations of one of the top private fitness. It's called Innovative Fitness. Like, it's one of the best. There's no way Curtis is teaching a class. Like, if I even said, hey, Curtis, you should take on the private client, he would be like, what are you talking about? The reason why, Lindsay, is your company needs you, not in the class. I know you think you need to be in the class, but here's the problem is that's not scalable. It might solve the problem for the week, but it's not going to solve the problem. And in the
Yeah.
book, I actually tell a story. I forget what his name is in the book. Okay. But all of you guys in Moncton, I shouldn't do this. Fuck, I should keep them secret. So when I wrote the book, I told a bunch of stories, but I changed the first name of the people to a different name, but the same initial, so that I remembered who it was. Okay. And in the book, I actually talk about a guy that owns a bikes. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but anyways, guy owns a bike store. Okay. He owns a retail store just like you. Okay. And every time I went to the bike store, he was the front door guy. Hey, Dan, nice to see you. Shakes my hand. How you doing? What's the race? What's going on? Okay. And I don't, let's call him Darcy. I forget what I named the book. I'm just going to call him Darcy. I don't want to call him out. I hope someday he reads my book and go, were you talking about me? And here's why, is because I spent $30,000-$40,000 in his store. Okay. I bought all my road bikes, my training gear, my clothes for my Ironman and stuff. The amount of issues I ran into, from delays, service orders being missed, not ordering parts they meant, like, just, it was bananas, Lindsay. That had I been younger, because I was way more direct when I was younger. Okay. Now I have a lot more, be the lighthouse, not the tugboat. I would have told him, Rick, Darcy, I don't need you to shake my hand when I come in the office. I need you to get in your fucking office and go run your company.
Yeah.
That's what I need from you. I need you to go run the business. I need you to go train your team. I need you to go fix the supply chain problems. I need you to hire better people. I need you to figure out your inventory problems. I need you to run the business. And your business needs you focused on marketing, hiring, training. Yeah. It does not need you teaching a class. Every hour you spent teaching a class instead of working on marketing, making sure your cash flow stuff is in order, making sure that you like set the goals up. So like, hey, when we open the door, we want to get to cash flow break even by this time. Every time you're not doing that, you're risking that the whole thing will implode on itself.
Yeah, I hear you. You're right. You're absolutely right.
And I will tell you this, Lindsay, there's a high probability that you're doing this because you don't feel like you deserve the success.
Oh, don't make me cry on my second call, Dan. Okay.
Well, you should. You should connect with that.
Yeah, I do. I do connect with that.
This is what happens. Sometimes when we're building and we know our potential, it's not obvious, right? It's out of fear. We show up at 60%, not 100%. Why? Because if I do 100% and I fail, then I failed at 100%. So we go 60, and what we're doing is we're sabotaging ourselves, right? When we know better, we know we shouldn't go and be doing some aspect of our business. Instead, we should be focusing on marketing and sales. It's why I have the 5 daily non-negotiables. I designed the rhythm to become inevitable that you'll all be successful if you just follow the pattern, but some of you guys don't follow it. Why? Because I don't think you really want to win. You say you want to win. I want to build this multi-million successful business. Great. I showed you the pattern. Do it. Let me help you do the stuff that you're supposed to do. But they don't. And the reason why is because I don't think they feel like they deserve that level of success. We will never attract into our lives anything more than we think we deserve.
Yeah.
Right? And signing a lease agreement, easy AF. That's not hard. Opening up a new location, super easy. You can pay people, fill it out. It's fun. It's creative. Filling it, hiring people, making sure all the classes are top notch, hard work, but the work that's required, not teaching the class. You want to build the class design. You want to build the training for your instructor. Okay. You want to figure out the recruiting so that you recruit the great people.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And like and I'm not saying go cold turkey tomorrow, but just work your way towards that, Lindsay, because I guarantee your business isn't getting the attention in other areas it needs to. And you're going to wake up with a serious clusterfuck that you got to solve that, you know, today you may be actually creating in the future based on your decisions today. And the reason we do that is because that's sabotaging. Nobody's going to hold that against us, right? What if we grew too fast? We grew too fast. That's what we're going to tell ourselves. Not my fault. We grew too fast.
Yeah.
I'll know. You'll know.
everyone on the call will know.
They're all
Um,
taking away the lessons. They trust me. They're all going, I'm doing the same thing and I need to stop messing around. Don't worry about them. You're helping them more than you'll ever know because you're being honest about it.
Yeah, I appreciate the answer. That was profound. So thank you.
Awesome. Let's give it up for Lindsay. Awesome question. Cool. Post in the chat what you took away. What'd you like best? What'd you need to hear most today? Doza.
Hey, legend. Hey, legend. Okay, my win. I've done the non-negotiables every day since last Wednesday, including the breaking a sweat, opening all the chats and all that kind of stuff. And feel great. Everything's moving in the right kind of the direction. I can feel the momentum. And our podcast that we've been working on is with Apple now and it's set to launch next week. So just listen to all the new episodes and they sound great. So I'm pumped about all that. Dude, my question is in relation to retention or churn in your academy. Like, so we've got an academy, but for gym owners, people like Lindsay that are trying to scale as well. We're at about 5% now, month on month churn, and I want to get that down to about 2%. I want to improve that. Where does your mind go on where would you start first? Like, what are the absolute like needle movers that you have in your academy that your client success team does, or maybe even it's like how you've built a really strong community? Where does your mind go to how to really get some world-class retention metrics there?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If anybody struggled with keeping customers, getting customers seems to be the chocolate, right? But the broccoli is really getting results for customers and keeping. Just type retention in the chat. I'm just curious if anybody else has, thought about or curious about how do I keep more customers? Just type retention in the chat. It's a challenge for a lot of people. And I'll tell you, this is the process that I learned in software that I applied to coaching. And it's why I've had the best numbers in the industry. It's why we built the fastest growing coaching company, is because I'd go to these masterminds and people would always talk about like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing challenges, I'm doing Facebook ads, I'm doing this and call closing and 2-step calls and all. And I'm just like, nobody was talking about retention. Nobody was talking about programming or product. And it blew my mind because I learned a long time ago, we got to build a great bucket and then we fill it. Okay. We have to build a great process to get people results as fast as possible, to enroll their team, to get them integrated into our culture and then create a vision. So when you say, what do we do to create the best retention out there? It's a lot of stuff, man. It's the setup. For example, we frame our program as a 3-year program with 1-year commitment. Like, just start with that. Okay. This is not an annual program. This is a 3-year program. We're just getting you to commit for a year. Right. Then it's, painting the future. Okay. I'll leave you into a little secret. Like, my private coaching is it's an investment. A lot of you guys, hopefully someday you get there. But I mention that because I want to seed some of you to eventually work with me privately. I'm creating a future. See, most of you, if they run out of runway, they'll run out of you. So they might be coming into your world. If you're losing people, you might be losing your best customers because they run out of your thing. They're like, hey, we kind of did the stuff, it's working, and now we're good. We're going to go find somebody else to teach us some new stuff. So that's a potential area of retention, right? Where we don't have an ability to ascend, right? Some of you guys have weight loss or what other programs, like what happens after the weight loss? Think about that, Doza. If I have a weight loss program and somebody hits their goals, then what?
Yeah.
Like, oh, we should be ready to, hey, let's talk about the rest of your life. Let's talk about your relationships. Let's talk about your mental game. Let's talk about your career, right? Why would we stop at weight loss, right?
Yeah.
Potentially. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And then there's kind of like, how do we monitor customers? What I call the happiness index. So we actually build tooling to monitor customers, and we measure them: red, green, yellow, or purple. Okay. Red is they're not engaged. Let's get them engaged. And then how do we do that? Well, we also have a client agreement that they sign that says we agree to do these 1,400 things and you agree only to do these 4. Okay. Right. And when they're not engaged, Doza, somebody on my team gets them on a call out of, super polite, like, hey, Doze, I just want to check in. How you doing? Can we get on a call? Yeah, no problem. Sorry, I've been perfect. And then they go, hey, what the fuck, man?
This thing.
Doze, do you remember you signed this?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Did we do these 1,400 things? Yeah. And then we only asked you to do these 4. And you're red on all of them. And guess what, Doza? You not showing up is actually causing me heartburn. Okay, so we use some social guilt, right? You not showing up as a client is causing my team member heartburn because they're measured based on your engagement. So then we make it not even about them. If they can't even show up for themselves, how about you show up for the person that's going to that's going to be affected, right? So when you say, what do we do? There's a lot of stuff, but I'll tell you the process is I just start with the cancellations. I figure out why they left, what was missing. And we talk to everyone, we do a survey, and then we build it into the program. We say, okay, well, here's the problem that's happening. What do we need to fix? Here's the problems happening. What do we need to fix? And that process never stops. I have a function in my company called program design.
Yeah.
And there's a program owner, and I teach them how to do product design. I literally, it's like somebody left, why, group the feedback into categories, then present to me the big buckets and what's the solution, 131. And that's what we're iterating on quarter over quarter. And a lot of times it's not to do anything new. It's to fix the stuff we used to do. We just started sucking at it.
Right. Okay. What about with the community? Is there I'd love to even get stronger with the community bond, because that's something that I see. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Ask your clients. Okay. And
That's
I just
awesome.
want you guys to know this program is designed specifically for very specific reasons. So what I do in SaaS Academy is completely different than what I do in the Elite. So do not pattern match anything I do in here for a high-end coaching program, because I've specifically designed it this way for a reason. Okay.
That's awesome.
But just if you want to improve that stuff, just talk to the customer.
Yeah, that's unreal.
Yeah. And like when we literally send out, we do surveys with customers. We do NPS scores on a cohort basis. Every event we do a survey. Every live event we do a survey. We do feedback scores at the end of every coaching calls. Like there's a lot of feedback systems built into our org that a lot of people just don't do.
Wow.
But always begin with the customer. That's anybody that left, find out why. Talk to them.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Thanks, brother.
Awesome. For Doze, everybody, post your takeaways in the chat. Damien, what do you got, man?
What's up? So first, just want to say, like, all the questions have been next level. I just definitely have to go back and watch those on repeat, just because some bombs being dropped and stuff that applies to me specifically. So what were you saying about like the questions applying to other people? Definitely felt that. For wins, did raise the prices, got 150,000 in ARR since raising those.
Let's go.
Pretty pumped about that.
Yes.
So yeah, with raising the prices, we have current clients who are on the old pricing. That's like they'll refer people and they're saying like, yeah, we're on this current pricing. This is what it's like, and then they'll come on board and we're quoting them our new pricing. That's causing a little bit of an issue. How would you recommend either like raising the prices with our current clients, or maybe keeping them? An idea is just like keep them, and it's like that's like the lower tier, and this is a new offering that we have. How do you think about
my
that?
rule, Damien, I've done hundreds of pricing changes, projects, change management, et cetera. Okay. Like I have a crazy amount of experience on this. My rule is I will let you stay at your current price for the next year if you pay up front. Okay. So you can pre-lock in, but in the year the price goes up because we've improved our value, we improve our pricing. I do not grandfather people in. It's a bad habit to get into, and it doesn't demonstrate that you've gotten better and you're creating more value than you used to. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And then culture,
so they can lock it in, but only for a year.
Okay. Makes sense. And that something like culture-wise, like before when we were like lower price, we'd like try to like specifically be stingy on what we were offering them because we're trying to keep our costs low and compete in that area. Is there anything you'd recommend to like improve that culture, and instead like of skimping out, say like how can we further improve the like what we're offering.
Here, if you go back to the previous training, the reason why I talked about gross margin is my philosophy is, and you'll have to figure that out for your own business, is every program has a P&L, a profit and loss statement. It has gross margin, it has costs associated to it. So you just got to set your target. If it's 80% gross margin, just figure out, what can you change to deliver value at 80% gross margin? So I don't actually let what I do drive things. First, it's the financial, these are the constraints. So my program owners, this is the constraint. So if you put the prices up, guess what? You got more to work with because your gross margins get better. And you might decide to take something away or put something else, but it's up to them to figure out how to be creative on how they structure it to be able to deliver the more value. So to me, the more value is dependent on your pricing and your gross margins for that program. Unless it's a loss leader to liquidate your ad spend, like on a front end offer, like a challenge funnel or whatever. But other than that, when it's a program, it's gross margin, it's a financial projection, and that's how I make decisions.
Okay, cool. That's super helpful.
Cool. For Damien, everybody. Awesome. Chris, what do you got?
Hey, Dan. So for my win, I created an offer last week before there was any fulfillment structure, and I sold it just through like a Stripe page. So sold an offer before actually having any fulfillment on it. So
does that work? Chris,
yeah.
That doesn't work.
My first time doing that, so felt really good about that.
People overcomplicate things. Some of you guys make me laugh. Keep it simple.
Yep,
add value,
Stripe page,
take payment, move forward. Yes.
So my question is around building community. So I've got like a 40-person community, like a group coaching thing, plus like video course for creatives who are trying to start their businesses and scale to the 6-figure a year mark. I'm struggling with the engagement inside of this community. So it's like a Discord group plus group coaching calls. And on the coaching calls, some people would rather just type their questions out rather than speak. And inside of the Discord community, people are a little hesitant about like sharing any wins they have or just really interacting a bunch in the side of there. We've got like 5 people that are super interactive in this, but there's another like 35 people that just aren't. So my question is, how do I build up engagement in this kind of community?
Prompts. But I mean, the question is why is that a problem?
It's a good question.
Yeah. First question I always ask people is, what's the problem you're trying to solve? Because I think sometimes we make up problems that may not be the problem. So I'm just asking, like, what is the problem? If like community engagement, if that's the reason people aren't staying, then yeah, fix it. But if you don't know why they're not staying, maybe your community is just fine and some people are just quiet. Right.
Yeah, I guess I just hear about these other programs that have super active people, and
it might be the type of program they're offering, and it may be the way they're onboarding people. That, I mean, there's a ton of ways. Okay. First off, when you onboard them, make them go post in the community. Start, it's like grease the wheel, start the action, right? Why do you guys think I keep asking you to post in the chat? I want you guys to post in the chat, right? So, and then you could do prompts to say, here's how we work. Every week we do a win of the week and right? So you just got to set up you got to teach people how to treat you or act in your program just through the expectations. So the problem with a lot of coaching programs is it takes 12 months sometimes to kind of cycle through people that experience a certain thing to kind of see if the impacts, obviously like prompts in our Facebook group can be a lot quicker, but just know that like it takes a while because we've indoctrinated people in a certain way. So, but there's other groups that are just chattier, man. I just want you to know that, Chris. Okay. Some of them, personal development, certain types of groups are just chattier than others. Okay. But if it's a problem, try to fix the problem. But yeah, it's not really, I think it's all about setting the expectations and making really strong prompts and then having somebody, if you want, you can afford it, pay to go reach out to them and say, hey, I didn't get your answer. I didn't get your answer. I didn't get your answer. It's part of our commitments. Remember the thing you committed to? Didn't see you respond there. Let's go.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I love that. I also have started doing some of the stuff you do during these coaching calls inside mine. I've seen a big jump in engagement, so it's been great.
Yeah,
to see
it's the
that
coach
work.
framework. I do it at the beginning, but once I get through a few of you guys, I got to get through the rest of you, so I have to stop. But the coach framework is actually in the book. If you guys want to kind of refresh yourself on that. For Chris, everybody, love it.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, let's see what we can get done here. Nihal, what's your question?
Yeah, so first, the win. I fired 2 clients this week. There were 30K
Boom.
total retainer, and like I'm setting a new standard for what my expectation for a retainer is and how I want people to show up in my company. So that was like a shock for my team, and that is contagious in a positive way. So that's my win.
I love that. Congrats, man. Setting the standard.
Thank you. My question is for the advisory role. Before you were charging what you're charging now, and like the structure of it, were you doing advisory deals on that like 0.5 to 2% range? And was there a monthly fee, or-
Yeah, no, I actually went the opposite. Because I had more money than time back in the day. I was angel investing for a long time. And then now I don't do as much other than full buyouts. Most of my equity stuff I do is advisory shares. And usually I keep it very simple. You know, most startup lawyers, you can get a template from them.
And it's just equity, no like payment, right? Like, or no, like,
No, I don't do any consulting. No, it's just equity. And it's usually people that I've coached for a while that I like. I know them. I like, you know, like my bar for getting involved at that level is really high.
and your goal is not like distributions, it's the actual exit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I don't do any profit sharing. Those angel investment, and I only do it with tech companies that raise capital that there's a clear exit strategy. Yeah, I haven't done like I just talked to a friend on the weekend and they do this thing where they take 10% of profit, 10% of the exit. I don't know if that'll ever be part of my world. Just feels like just muddies the water. Not saying I won't, but I just don't.
And could you speak a bit more about the ENPS software you're using? Like, why did you choose Let's?
I don't choose software anymore. At my scale, teams choose software. So I can't tell you, but my head of people chose Lattice. But you can do an ENPS survey using a free survey software. Yeah. Awesome. For Nihal, everybody, awesome questions. Hannah, how's the knee?
I got a good attitude. Me, 1 out of 10, vibes, 10 out of 10.
That
So
sucks. All right. Well,
yeah,
let's get
okay.
the vibes. Cool. How can I help?
Thanks for asking. Sharing a win. I signed my first private coaching client, which I'm really excited about. Girl reached out to me. She wanted me to teach her my systems because she loved the work that I produced. So it really opened up my mind to say I can get out of being the designer role and step into something bigger. So that's really exciting.
Can I pause you for 1 sec? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody listen to this. The work that Hannah does with her private client is a forcing function for her to document the process for her doing the work she's doing. So someday she can get out of that if she wants to not do it because somebody else does it. So like, that's the cool part of building a coaching program. I built a whole scaling software operating manual by building SaaS Academy that I didn't even know I built until it was built. And then I started Big Band Software. And now I have this unfair advantage when I buy a company that we've got all the playbooks to execute the growth. So don't forget that part when you're working with your private client. Cool?
Yes. To second that, I was going to release a course teaching coaches how to build sales funnels. So the curriculum that I created for her in itself is also creating a course. So it's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So my question for you is, what does your iteration process look like for your design systems and frameworks? Because I feel like I spend a lot of time constantly updating my templates and frameworks. Do you have a system for iteration of your existing frameworks?
No, I don't have anything written in stone. It usually depends on the team I'm working with to build in the work, right? Like I just run really fast to stop doing anything I have to do twice. And then once I give it to them, then I like build it, train it, monitor it. And then at some point I'll give it to a leader and then they iterate if they feel like it's broken. Okay. But I would say, you know, you should be, you know, it can be real time too. It's like, oh, it's broken. Let's update the template, right? Like I update SOPs are like real time. Nobody should be doing a checklist without having the standard operating procedure open. Like that's one of our rules in our company. It's if there's a checklist, you open it. If it's broken, fix it. Cool?
Yeah, yep. I guess the question comes into like, when do you know if you're being a perfectionist over making the system perfect? For example, I have templates for a strategic flow of a sales page or the strategic flow of copywriting on a sales page. I'm constantly
hire somebody, get them to do it, and then see if they miss the mark.
Okay.
and then see if it's because of the template or the lack of training. Fix that, and then just keep seeing how much throughput you can get done.
Okay, thank you.
And everybody, boom. Cool. Let's try to get through the last three. Winner of our giveaway, though, is Denise still on the call? Denise, are you there? Denise Dag.
Yes, sir.
See you all. Dude, you are the winner of this week's giveaway. Let's give some love to Denise. Thank you, Ann, for picking you out of the crowd. You'll just connect with Ann. She'll get you your prize. And again, you guys got to be on the calls, got to be live. Hey, there's Chris, you asked about engagement. That's something we started doing just to make sure everybody was on the calls. Hey, so like there's little tricks. Just play around with it. Ala, quick question. What do you got?
All right. So I'm the founder of E-commerce Training Academy. I teach e-com founders how to double their sales. And one challenge I have is I want to guarantee those results. Every client I've worked with does double their sales. The last one, which is a client twin, she just doubled her sales last month after joining the program within 2 months. So even in my career, being in this industry for over 2 decades, I've always doubled sales for every company I've worked for as an exec for those companies. So I want to do the same thing in my program, but without them telling me afterwards, if they don't double their sales, I don't want them to say, well, your program doesn't work. It does work. It's just, you need to commit, to your point, 3 years, but it's like a 1 year, I can tell you can double your sales, but how can I guarantee it without them saying, well, your program doesn't work?
Yeah, my buddy Rob does this, and he does a guarantee, but the way it works is you have to agree to do these 7 things. And as soon as you don't do one of those 7 things, then the guarantee's off the table.
Okay.
And they initial it, right? So you might say, run a weekly sales call, update the SOP. Like you can literally create a list that you know they won't do. Because imagine if I said I guaranteed make $1 million in the next 12 months, you just have to do the 5 non-negotiables for 365 days. What percent of people do you think are going to be 100% compliant? Very few, as in like not a lot. So, but I almost can guarantee if you did it, you'd probably make $1 million. So that's how he does it. Talk to a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. Cool.
Thank you.
Proud everybody. Let's give him some love. Heather.
Hey, Dan, what's up?
I'm doing incredible. I love you stepping up your content game. Keep it up. It's a good look on you.
Thank you. Thank you. A lot of people have noticed. So I guess that would be one of my wins. I've gotten some inbound sales stuff from that as well. And one of them has turned into an enterprise deal. It's not signed, but I got a verbal.
What?
So it's working.
You're getting pipeline from sharing content on the internet? That doesn't work. It's amazing.
Yeah,
cool.
Super, super exciting. But so my question for you today, I'm still kind of stuck on this churn issue, but the majority, so we have the issue that I mentioned on a couple of sales calls from a competitor, like undercutting us, stealing customers. But the other main reason why a customer leaves us is because they don't need our D2C Lite solution. They need a full direct-to-consumer e-commerce solution like Adobe or Shopify or BigCommerce. And we can create that, but we don't, like we partner with Shopify, we partner with BigCommerce, so we don't really want to create that solution to solve that problem. But it's almost like when our customers see that they're generating good sales from us and they're getting the data and they see the value of it, if we do a good job, they almost graduate, kind of like Shopify ended up graduating and then they had to create an enterprise system. But we just don't want to compete with those customers. So curious what your thoughts are. Or compete with those partners, I should say.
Well, there is no other, like, I mean, that's the option. You know, we have people graduate out of our coaching program and I tell my team all the time, like, good. They're supposed to, right? Like we won't serve a certain market. That's fine. Like if you're not going to build that product, there's nothing you can do because, you know, they want to move on to something more full featured. So if you can't, if you don't want to build it, then you just got to be okay and then figure out, okay, well, what's true about the customers that are staying? Let me go adjust my marketing and my position to attract those customers so I don't get a bunch of people that keep leaving on me.
Okay.
I don't have a good answer for you on that one. Like there's no solution if you don't want to build it.
Yeah, well, it just seems like it's like, why compete in this space that's like so red,
Totally.
like full of e-com solutions, and they're also our partner. So I don't want to risk getting our,
It's called channel conflict. Yep.
Yeah, it's challenging. So maybe we just, I guess the other thing is trying to solve a different problem for those customers. So we, honey, sorry.
No, she can stay on the
So
call.
we
I love it.
can, so we can keep them on, but maybe solving something else is kind of what we're trying to figure out. Solve a
I would
different
talk to
problem
them.
for them.
But yeah, like a
Okay.
lot of people that outgrow your product, if you don't want to build that, you just have to, that's just natural customer expansion, and they just will churn out, and that's fine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Thank you,
Cool.
Dan.
Awesome, Heather. It's good to see you. Let's give some love to Heather. Vanessa Shaw, so good to see you on here. Guys, this group is stacked. I know you don't know, because maybe you don't know Vanessa, but this group is stacked with incredible people. Vanessa, we got to get going. But
right as I'm on at the end, that was a good.
No, but it's for you specifically, because I love your stuff. Like from the first time I met you, I was like, man, this is a sharp person. And I don't say that often.
Thank
So I'm really excited to be working with you. How can I help?
And now I'm going to feel like really dumb, right? So the reach outs, I totally get it. You know, I did 75 hard before, it really worked, and then I slipped and then it didn't work, right? The system works. So I'm totally bought into sticking with what you've laid out. And the whole 5-star conversations daily, I have clearly got massive blocks around it, big stories. I don't want to be a sleazeball. I don't want to slide into the DMs and be all horrible like most people are. And so I've got into my head, and by the way, I tried this before as well. I made a real mess of it because I wasn't tracking things. And then I didn't build a system, so it felt like everything was custom. So now I'm back to, Dan, could you help me simplify and get started on getting started back into the 5 conversation starters a day?
Yeah,
be a good place to start and track and not get myself completely.
I'm gonna give you one thing and just do it for a week, and you can come back. I'll give you some more stuff. But like on your Instagram, right? You can go to I don't know where it is, but there's like this filter you can see on your likes. If you hit your hearts in the top corner, and then you can filter. I don't know if you see that on Instagram, and then go follows. And these are all the new people that just followed you.
Okay.
And then you just start with the first one and you message. That's all I'm doing. I just click the first one and I said, hey man, thanks for following. Send.
Okay.
And he'll reply, or they'll reply. And then you could be like, tell me more about your business. And they're like, well, I do this. And it's like, cool. Are you working with a coach? No, actually. Oh, awesome. Is that what you do? Yeah, it's funny. It's like kind of what I do. Like, you're not a sleazeball if you're trying to be helpful. You're sleazeball if you try to sell something to somebody that they don't need. I don't know. You guys are on the call. I'm pretty sure you guys are having a good time. Like, I didn't sell you stuff you didn't need. I don't sell shit to people that I can't help. I literally, people like, I'm like, where are you at? They're like, oh, I'm a bartender. I go, cool. We have YouTube videos. It's all free. Keep trucking along. Come back when you're further along. Even people that might have bigger revenue numbers, if they don't have a key problem that I think that I can help them with, I don't invite them into elite program. Yeah. Right. So just do it. And as you're doing it, document it in a Google Notes file or whatever, what you're doing, the chats, how you start. So I've just documented. I've got a way I open follows. I have a way that I open story shares. I have a way that I open comments. I have a, but, and then you just have a team, just do the opens. You can still do the chats just to get other people to start the conversations. 5 is minimum. I'm at like 30, 40, 50. I don't, you know what I mean? But I also have a team doing it because I bought back my time.
There you go. Okay.
You got this, Vanessa. But
Thank
we're not
you.
sleazy. We're just trying to serve, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Guys, appreciate you all. Leave a comment below. Let me know what resonated the most with you today. What did you need to hear most? What did you like best? I want to hear from everybody in the chat. And while you're doing that, I just want to remind everybody, okay, the big message of today's call is to build the machine that builds the machine. It's why we talk about the model, the ACEs model, track, convert, expand, scale. And in systems of scaling, we got to build the design patterns. We got to look for those opportunities to design a system that will repeat and get an outcome that other people execute that you're not involved in, because that is unselfish. And we don't want to fall into the trap of sometimes being sabotagers. because we will only ever attract into our lives what we think we deserve. And some of you guys, unfortunately, do not feel like you deserve more. And it's why you keep hitting your upper limit of your revenue or your success, because you will cool yourself down. So with that, appreciate you all. Let's give some love to Anne for helping coordinate everything every week. She's incredible. To all of you guys, have an amazing rest of the day. We'll talk soon. Peace. Later.